What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your co-host Donovan Quick, and today we're gonna make a deep dive into our new defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver. Yes, I know, a little overdue, but we gonna get into it right now. So as most of you know, he was the Texans defensive coordinator a few years ago. When was that exactly? 2020. And outside of JJ Watt, that line had absolutely no one worth even mentioning. So it was a really bad group of guys that he coached up with. That defense was just horrific. Finished 27th overall in the NFL in 2020. Obviously, after that year, Bill O'Brien got let go. Watson started his holdout thing, and next thing you know, Weaver ends up in Baltimore. Now, he didn't blitz that much when he was actually, scratch that. He was kind of in between where Boyer and Fangio were. Fangio, I ranked like 26th, 27th in blitz rate, and then Boyer was top 5 in blitz rate. So it was complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and I've been kind of saying I want someone that's going to be able to find the middle ground with this group, because look, I don't want to run a whole lot of zone like Fangio did. I don't want to run too much man like Boyer did. That, the bend don't break from Fangio's defense was it bent all the way. It didn't break, but it bent all the way. And at the end of the day, points allowed is the main stat, and when Ramsey was in, we didn't allow a lot of points. Boyer, on the other hand, towards the end of the games, the defense broke down because they were tired, because, they're just blitzing all the time and man-to-man coverage all the time, and that wears your defense down. So you need to find the middle ground there, and I was hoping that we had two guys on staff. Anthony Campanile, now gone and with the Green Bay Packers as their linebackers coach. He was here for both Boyer, Flores, and Fangio. Same thing with our outside linebackers coach, Ryan Slowick. Ryan or Brian? Anyways, he was here for both regimes as well. And excuse me. So he was here for both those regimes as well. So I'm like, okay, who knows these guys better than obviously the people that have been there through two different schemes and have been coaching these guys up through two different schemes. As we go through that, these are guys that are able to find the middle ground. That's what it's all about. So I was kind of like hoping for one of those two, and then Anthony Weaver popped up. And I'm like, I didn't even know he was an option, because he was interviewing for head coaching positions with the Commanders and I believe the Seahawks. So we have a guy that's, a not prominent, but one of the top head coaching candidates probably next year, but this year as well, interviewing for two different teams. There wasn't a lot of people that did that, outside of Mike McDonald. Wink Martindale was there, and he worked under Weaver worked under Wink Martindale, right? So as we're getting into that, Wink Martindale liked the blitz a lot, so you kind of go from the Texans defense, which you had to kind of blitz at a higher rate because of the lack of talent, and then you go into Baltimore, just absolutely devoid of talent. But he worked even closer with Mike McDonald, and Mike McDonald ran a completely different defense and utilized a lot of guys in different ways that fit that team better. He found the happy medium. They didn't blitz a lot. They stayed sound in coverage. They didn't play too much zone. They didn't play too much man. What they did do was fool the quarterback a lot by post-snap movements. We didn't have nearly any of that with Boyer without Flores. With Flores, we had a lot of that. We had guys, we would crowd the line of scrimmage and then drop back. And Flores kind of like, he almost invented that with the Patriots, brought it down here, and we were top 4 defense when Flores was calling plays. Now you look at what across the league, the amoeba defense has made a major impact, and I believe that is going to be very similar as to what Weaver could probably bring here, and he's a guy that he even described it himself, the chess match in creating these defensive plays, the chess match in trying to figure out the offense and coaching these guys up and adjusting throughout the game. He loves that. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. And he's made some staff changes already. So as I said before, Anthony Campanile, he's going to be going over to Green Bay. We actually got Green Bay's old defensive coordinator, Joe Barry. He's going to be our inside linebackers coach. And we just brought a guy over from the Texans, and he's going to be our outside linebackers coach. And from what I gather, they worked together before. So who knows? I mean, it could be good, could be bad. Who knows? And we are keeping Slowick on board. He's not leaving. He did, it's kind of weird. He interviewed for the head coach or defensive coordinator position. I kind of thought it was going to be like an Anthony Campanile situation where, you interview twice for the defensive coordinator position. You don't get it. You kind of just want to reset and move to a different team. And, Rizzi ended up, he interviewed twice for head coach, once after Philbin was fired, and then once after Gase was fired. Didn't get the job either time. And then they just, he's like, I want out. And we let him go. And sucks because our defensive coordinator sucks, but is what it is. Anyways, that's what Campanile kind of felt like when he left. And he's probably going to get a defensive coordinator role here in a couple of years. He had a couple of interviews this year. He interviewed for us last year. If he does good with the Green Bay Packers, I can see him being a defensive coordinator fairly soon. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? What can Weaver do for this defense? What can Weaver do? What does he bring to the table? And to me, to answer that question, it's kind of like, who can he bring to the table? Could he bring over free agent Patrick Queen? Patrick Queen was talking on Twitter. He doesn't want to be labeled an inside linebacker. He doesn't want to be labeled an outside linebacker. He's a linebacker. He can play anywhere on the field. He can play in coverage. He doesn't care. He can play everywhere. Can Weaver bring that here, bring him here, and that'll help our linebacker group out a lot. Our linebacker group is going to be really thin next year. To start the year, we're probably not going to have Jalen Phillips. We're probably not going to have Bradley Chubb. I think Andrew Van Ginkel probably follows Fangio over to the Eagles. Just a gut feeling. I don't know. I would love to keep Andrew Van Ginkel. David Long Jr. is a free agent. Jerome Baker, I believe he's either a restricted free agent or has 1 year left on his deal and is due for an extension. What do you do? And then on top of this, we're $40 million over the cap. I did go over how we can get back under the cap in a different video. Go check us out on that if you want. But it's going to be a tough one out there. We're going to need a lot of help. A lot of places on this defense. I think we're good at corner. That's like the one place I think we're good at. Who knows if we retain Xavier Howard next year? That's going to be a big if. I still trust our guys. I hope Nick Needham returns to the team. He's also a free agent. Whole bunch of guys. It's going to be really interesting as this coaching staff fills out who he keeps, who goes. And it's going to be even more interesting seeing the personnel that he's going to be working with. Who knows if we're going to have Wilkins next year? It's a whole bunch of ifs. And I don't know about y'all. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Deuces.